Is the United States still the land of opportunity? Honestly, not anymore. Because the American dream relies on the one thing this country is killing: the middle class. Being middle class today means you earn between $40,000 and $122,000 a year, depending on where you live. You're not poor, but nor are you rich. You're getting by. Back in the 1960s, over half of American households were middle class, but that middle class has been shrinking ever since. Today, the median income is less than it was in 1989. But the cost of living, of course, keeps going up. In just the last 15 years, the cost of housing, healthcare, childcare, and college have all skyrocketed. That means people are working longer hours for less pay just to keep the lights on. How has it gotten to this? Let's start with unions, those organizations that workers belong to so they don't get screwed by management. The United States has historically had some of the strongest unions, but in the last 30 years, membership has nosedived. Back in the 1950s, more than a third of private sector workers belonged to a union. Today, that number stands at 7%. Check out the share of income the middle class takes home compared to union membership. Weaker unions, weaker middle class. Without bargaining power, it's no wonder that the federal minimum wage has also fallen. So what happened? A defining moment was in 1981, when 13,000 air traffic controllers went on strike. President Ronald Reagan responded by firing them, all of them. This action put the US government squarely on the side of management, emboldening execs to go after unions. Since then, there have been waves of laws passed by states that weaken union membership, which corporations take advantage of by relocating to states that have weaker unions and fewer labor laws. That's if they stay in the country at all. Why are there fewer and fewer good-paying jobs? We're often told that technology has a lot to do with it. And yes, since the 1970s, millions of manufacturing jobs have been lost to automation. But that's just part of the story. You know those boring trade agreements that get negotiated in secret? Well, pay attention, because while they're touted as being great for growth, they've also hurt American workers. The US lost nearly 700,000 jobs, mostly in manufacturing, thanks to NAFTA. And while China is a favorite scapegoat, it's the United States that opened the doors to trade without properly protecting its industry or workers. In 5 years, 1.8 million jobs were lost as companies moved abroad or decided to import cheaper goods. Who knew the American dream included lobbyists? Today, the biggest corporations have armies of lobbyists who make sure that things go the way of big business in Washington. And they spend $2.6 billion a year to do just that. That's 34 times the amount that unions and public interest groups spend. And it's totally legal. So is keeping your profits offshore in order to avoid paying American taxes. That's what most Fortune 500 companies do. About those taxes, in 40 years, the top 0.1% actually saw their taxes cut in half, whereas the middle class is paying more. Many conservatives argue that rising tides lift all boats, that if the rich make more money, eventually it'll benefit the rest of us. But has that actually happened? Yes, the economy is doing better since the Great Recession, but overall, the rich are getting richer while the majority of Americans keep getting poorer.